Hello everyone, as you know I'm Claire Davis and I'm very excited today because I have got Hannah Stainer with us today. Hello Hannah.
Hi Claire, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you going?
I'm good, thanks.
That's good. And Hannah's doing the mental health chat today and we're continuing with the topic of mental health and youth. And Hannah is a mental wellbeing and youth coach and has many insights into the mental health for teenagers and youth, and is going to elaborate on actually how we as parents or as carers of teenagers and youth can spot the signs of mental ill health. So Hannah, would you like to, first of all, before we go into that, tell us a little bit about what you do when you're coaching youth and mental health?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you for having me. I love talking about mental health. I'm very excited to be here. And yeah, so I work with young people and with their parents, and I do a blend of academic support, mentoring and coaching, a real mix to really meet the young person where they are, because we're all so individual. And I very much believe there's not a one size fits all approach to working with people. So it's very bespoke. And my background is in education. So I'm a qualified teacher in SEN, and I taught psychology. So the brain, mental health, all of that is, yeah, I love it.
Fantastic. You can tell that by how enthusiastic you are. So you seem really, really passionate. And so just to qualify, do you do one-on-one coaching with teenagers and their parents?
Yeah, one-to-one, and usually working separately. I don't know whether, if you think about your own relationship with your child, getting into really personal stuff or things you're struggling with sometimes isn't something you want to be doing in front of your parents. And actually there can be a real benefit to talking to the young person separately, talking to the parents and helping them, and then also kind of like bridging that gap a little bit, and also working with school as well. So as this sort of outsider who's non-judgmental, kind of talk to everyone and really help them to develop their resilience, to understand their emotions, and to process difficult things. Because the teenage years, I think we can all remember our own, the confusing time, not just with the hormones and everything happening biologically, but with social relationships getting way more complicated, and school and everything. So yeah, it's really a safe space where they can just rant and let it out and be helped to process that.
Brilliant. And you have hit the nail on the head. For me, I've got a couple of teenagers and it is a lot more challenging for teenagers. So as a parent or a carer of a young person, a teenager, can you tell us, because teenagers are teenagers, things happen with our hormones when we're teenagers. So can you tell us about how to spot the signs of mental health concerns for teenagers? What can we do as people who are looking after teenagers?
Yeah, and as you said, it is a very up and down time with the hormones. And so mood swings are normal, sleep changes are normal. But really what you want to be looking for is consistent changes. So it's completely normal to have periods of low mood, but if it's a sustained period of low mood where they're becoming withdrawn from things they usually enjoy, from social situations, then that's a bit of a flag that there might be something else going on. If they're having a big change in how much they sleep, whether it's much more, much less, changes in appetite, again, they can vary normally, but that sustained change. And what I would always say to parents is, your child, and if you have that gut feeling that this isn't kind of normal teenage stuff and there's something else, really listen to that, because you know your child better than anyone. And I think one of the things I talk about the most is communication, and really having that safe, open space where they can come to you and talk about what is going on. And I don't know if you've read the Chimp Paradox, but I'm talking about it all the time. It's fab. And as an adult, if you can let go of that emotional, that chimp brain, and let go of any, oh, it's maybe because of me, or I'm really concerned, to kind of let go of the emotions of it and just be the human, and just whatever comes out, whatever they say, if they're angry, if they're irritable, because actually that's another sign, that increased irritability. And again, that can be common in teenagers as well. But when that's directed to us, we can be a bit upset or hurt, and really you have to sort of disengage your emotions a little bit, be the adult, and just listen to what they're saying. So really communicating to your child that you are there, that maybe you're a bit worried, that they seem to be having a difficult time at the moment, and do they want to talk about it? And again, the teenagers, they may say no. They may say, I'm not talking to you, I don't want to talk about it. But letting them know that you are there when they want to, if they want to. And this is why sometimes it can help to have a coach, or to have maybe another family member who's like an aunt or an uncle or someone like that, who is a bit more removed, because that can feel easier to talk to, right? than talking. Because, you know, I'm sure everyone watching is an amazing, amazing parent. But if you think about your own parents, sometimes they irritate you. So it might be that there's something in the home dynamic that they're struggling with, and so having that slight outside person to talk to, because I think we, as children of a parent, we don't want to upset our parents. So there sometimes is that real barrier to opening up, because they don't want to upset their parents, they don't want to burden their parents. So it might be that you're concerned and you say, I'm here if you want to talk, and it might take a little while for them to open up, but just letting them know I'm here. But really, yeah, looking for those prolonged changes that aren't going away, that loss of interest in things, and then trusting your gut.
So I just want to pick up on a couple of points that you've said there. So the first one is, you might be interested in getting the book on called The Chimp Paradox. It's by Steve Peters. And he's also got a youth book that I've actually got. It's very, very practical for children. And it might be a bit childish for teenagers, but it's very, very good for children. So I will put that on the little blurb, Steve Peters, The Chimp Paradox. The second thing is, they may not like to speak to you. And we brought this up last week with Jason. And I really, it hits a bit of a chord for me, because my teenage son at the moment doesn't want to have anything to do with his mother, which I find really, really hurtful. It's really hard for me. And what I've got to keep reminding myself, and it's back to that chimp brain, is that it takes a village to bring up a child. And it might be a case that we might have a grandparent or an auntie or an uncle or a family friend or a coach like yourself, Hannah, that can help with listening to this child. And I found with him, sometimes the best conversations I have with him are in the car, or when he's least expecting it, or I'm least expecting it. So it's always trying to be ready for him.
The car, the walk, playing a board game, and then just, oh, I noticed this. No eye contact. Because I think sometimes when we want to start these conversations, it's like face to face, like we're doing now. And if you're having a difficult time, you don't want to be in that situation. And I think it also, to your point about it being difficult to talk to parents, if you think about what is happening in the teenage years, you're transitioning from being a child to being an adult, and you're finding out who you are as an individual, you're testing the boundaries a little bit. And there's something in that about not wanting to go to your parents, or I'm going to be independent, I'm going to sort it out. Whereas, like you said, a grandparent or an aunt or uncle, that's maybe easier because I'm not a child anymore, and it's all part of that growing up that we do. Yeah,
definitely. So when you say prolonged periods of time, Hannah, I know depression, what happens when depression is diagnosed by a GP is if you've got very, very low periods for most of the day for at least 2 weeks. So when we say prolonged periods of time, what do you mean for teenagers? Because, you know, some of their activities are just normal teenage. That's what a teenage does. So what do you mean by prolonged periods of time?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there are specifics for teens in the way there are for adult diagnoses, but I would say probably a similar benchmark if in a 2-week period there isn't any of those little lifts. So if there's things that they enjoy, and you could try planning something, you know, obviously with the restrictions at the moment, if you know they particularly like a certain meal or they particularly like a certain thing, offering that. And if there's no interest in that, that's maybe a sign that they're opting out from something they're interested in. So over a 2-week period, if you're seeing that they're just withdrawing and the mood's not lifting in any way, or again that gut feeling, because I think it's that balance of not too quickly jumping in with, oh, there must be something happening here, but not leaving it too long, because then we can get really stuck in that low mood, or they're a really anxious place. So it's that balance. So I think 2 weeks is probably a good benchmark to start thinking.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So when should we as parents, I mean, I know that I've got 4 children and I'm as happy as my saddest child. That's an old saying. But when should we really be concerned as parents? It's so emotional being a parent or a carer of a teenager or a young person, especially today. There are so many more demands. So when should we really be concerned?
It's a good question. I guess it depends on your child again, because if you've got a child who is a bit more of an introvert, who maybe is a bit more, and I was like this, I was quite a melancholy child, I think. So actually, you know, it maybe would have taken longer for it to get to a point of actually this is concerning, because that's kind of, you know, your personality. So I think it really is trusting that gut instinct. But I think if it's something that's been going on for a few months and there doesn't seem to be any change, and you've noticed those patterns, then having that conversation with them, but also considering maybe talking to your GP. The Mind website is great for information, and I always recommend it to people because it's got lots of suggestions there. And they also have sections that are written for young people. So it's something that, you know, you might try and have a conversation and your child might not want to hear it, but you could say, well, maybe check out this book, this website, and kind of see what you think. But one
and I know here in Bristol we've got local drop-in centres as well, that can help for young people. So it's maybe finding a local drop-in centre where young people go and have a chat as well.
Yeah, there's also Young Minds, which is tailored, you know, for young people. So I'd recommend those. And I also think there's something, and I don't know if you do this with your children, and I've been talking a lot about modelling over the last few weeks, and making your home an environment where it's okay to talk about emotions, it's okay to talk about things that you find difficult. And the best way to set up that environment, and I know you do mental health first aid in workplaces, and it's a similar thing, it's having those conversations. So if you're feeling a bit angry or a bit sad, voicing that around them. Oh, I'm feeling this is what I'm going to do. And you're just making it normal to talk about those emotions and to think about ways that you can do something about it. And I think, you know, children are sponges, really. They hear everything, even if you think they're not listening. They absorb so much. And actually, by having these conversations around them in their earshot, they can start to absorb this message. And it's really showing them, as well as you saying, come and talk to me, it's okay, you're showing them it's okay to talk about emotions, and you'll be supported and it will be okay. So yeah,
these are fantastic insights. Thank you so much, Hannah. I've taken a lot in, and I'm going to re-watch this because there's so much information you've given us there. So thank you so much, Hannah. Next time we've got somebody else on the youth front. His name is Ben Lovett, and he does evidence-based training in schools for safeguarding, so a different angle as well for young people. So thank you very much. This is a series for young people, a few weeks. And so if you would like to subscribe to the YouTube channel or to the podcast, feel free to hit the subscribe button. So thank you very much. It's been fantastic. Your insights are brilliant. Thank you very much, Hannah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.